Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of History Hobo Plays TimeGuessr. Got a pretty good score yesterday in the 49,000, so let's see if we can do it again today. Let's get into the game. Okay, here we go. Okay, we've got some soldiers. Is this guy injured or is he being arrested? By how tightly he's holding him here, I think he might be being arrested. Some kind of protests, I would assume then. Any clues on the badges? Can't read that. Red and black doesn't really help. What about this one? Okay, Satish Kumar. Sounds very Indian name to me. I don't know what that is. Is there a crown? Possibly. Yeah, it's hard to say. That looks like it could be Indian colours for sure. Although that's a bit more red than I would normally see. I think that's more the Indian orange. Let's look at this poster then. Okay, arrest Adani now. I assume he's Adani. I don't know who that is. So this looks like North Indian with the line across. Yeah. Probably Delhi, could be Kolkata, one of the two really. Yeah, we do have a bit of English government peppered in there, so I would say it is India, not Bangladesh. It tends to be more English peppered in. The Modani scam? I don't know what that says. Yeah, I think we're got to go India on this one, and probably New Delhi, to be honest. It could be Kolkata, but I'm hesitant to go there. I think we're going Delhi. We'll just go central. We are in a foresty area, so we could be like this central area. There's a lot of trees there. Okay, what year are we in? There's a lot of camera crews around. I'm assuming these are news crews. Any phones? Can't really see. The cameras look fairly modern. And the clothes look fairly modern too. I think this could be this year. It could be 10 years ago as well, but I think I'm going to go this year. Just sort of high quality image, feels more modern. Let's go for that. Yes, and it was New Delhi, although it wasn't in that area. Okay, police detaining a protester during a demonstration against billionaire Gautam Adani and Prime Minister Modi. I know Modi. Adani was recently indicted by US prosecutors on charge of fraud and bribery. I think I have heard of that. I just didn't, the name didn't ring a bell for me. Okay, next round. Got taxi stand, number plate, JA. It is split up like a Dutch number plate, but I don't know the Dutch ones. I can't remember whether they changed the colour or not. I think they might have. Bus with a Z though. We've got Z's in there. Could be Hungarian then. Air India, or not in India. Can't read that street name unfortunately. So we haven't got a huge amount of writing to go off. What about this one? Kongut Pastan, I don't know. It could be Hungary. Does this feel like a more Soviet style car, Eastern Bloc car? Possibly. We are driving on the right, yep. No other clues. Just the Z's here that's making me think Hungary. Don't see anything saying Hungary in Hungarian. No. So we'll go Budapest here. Could be Czech. Could be a few places really. It's not that many language clues to work off here. We'll go central Budapest. We'll go near our favourite street in Budapest. Around here, and Let's see, what year? So we have a beetle, doesn't help. If it is Hungary, often later than expected. Everyone's wearing fairly smart clothes. Vehicles look, that looks a bit more modern than the others. 70s-ish. We don't have any flares, do we? No. Being Hungary, some of these look a bit older, so we could be in the 70s here. Mid to early 70s, possibly. It's a tricky one. Let's go for 73. 69, it was a bit earlier, that's a shame. Sometimes it's hard to date Hungary. We were almost on that street. Actually, it is pretty much that street. That's just the other end of it. So a taxi driver answering a call for a job in Budapest, Hungary. Okay. Now, where is this? What language do we have here? The Dominion North Election Board South. Full result Thursday issue. Setting elected. Hamilton. Do I recognize any of these names? Avon. Here. Familiar. Bulla. Saves. State of parties. Seats. So this is some kind of election board, but I'm just trying to work out. It's obviously in English, but where? The buildings could be England. What does that say? His master's voice. That's an old, like, HMV dog, isn't it? Yeah, gramophone records. IMPO. Yeah, that says Thames there, so I assume it is some kind of English election. I don't know. Well, not all of the places sound familiar though. Central Otago does not sound like England. Awarua doesn't sound like England either. But Mid Canterbury is England. Wallace tomorrow. Interesting. So, with this many people around as well, do we see any English policemen here? I think with a crowd this size, there would be some policemen around, but I can't see any. We haven't got any text written in the corners. No. Well, with reference to Thames, I would say we are in London then, probably. Architecture definitely could be. It's almost Tower of London-ish, but not quite. I could be completely wrong here, but it's an interesting one. We'll just go in the City of London, fairly central. No, telling a year here is quite difficult. There's no year mentioned. Dominion North, South. I don't recognize any of the names. Are these like odds or how many votes? Yeah, it must be how many votes they've received. Can we see any fashions? This almost looks 30s in fashion. Do we see any vehicles? It's very difficult to tell because we can just see some headlights. I can't really tell whether that kind of looks like a Jeep, but it could be way older. This has a tire on the back, which would fit for the 30s. Could be early 30s. Wondering if some of these places are Commonwealths. It's not New Zealand, is it? I've just thought now it could be New Zealand. Southern Maori. It is New Zealand. Wow. Okay, glad I saw that bit, and I just had a thought there. We tend to get some New Zealand rounds, so let's switch up, and we'll be going into probably Wellington, I think, given the architecture. I think, yeah, it just had that feel about it of an old Wellington one. Might be up by the town hall, which is up here, I think, or the university somewhere up there. So yeah, I thought these names didn't make sense, but they didn't immediately strike me as Maori words, but then I just thought that makes a lot more sense. Okay, and if it is that era, then it probably is early 30s. It's very difficult to say because you can't see that much, but the fashion kind of fits for that. The cars could be. Sometimes it's real difficult to date the cars in New Zealand, but let's go 31. Was 31, wow, and it was nicely in Wellington. I'm glad I thought a bit longer about that one because I could have completely messed that up if I'd have gone in London. Crowds checking the 1931 general election results in Wellington, New Zealand. If I'd have seen that first, I would have immediately known. Okay, we've got an indoors one. Interesting, with a map on it as well. Let's just have a look up here. Does that say Munich? No. It looks like Mitwich. It doesn't really make much sense. Could be Munich. It doesn't say. It would be München if it was in... Oh, it's probably the month, isn't it? March or something. In whatever language we're in. Okay, can we get any more language clues here? Can't read that. It looks like it begins with an F. Maybe, I don't know. So we have a few maps we could try and match to something. Somewhere with a lake nearby. Yeah, quite a large lake. So we're on the southern coast. This looks like the outline of either a state or a city limits. Can't read any text there. Wow, this is going to be difficult if we can't get a language clue. It's probably almost definitely European. Almost definitely, not guaranteed though. If I could just see if it was in English or not. Oh, it doesn't look like English. BC. These are the locations in that city. We look like we're in the 80s given this keyboard style. Could be late 70s, but this reminds me of the old BBC computers from when I was a kid. We definitely got either a lake or a coastline to our south. We also have another one over here. So a city with that. Can't make out anything. Okay, it's going to be a search, this one. We're on a fairly decent score, so it's probably worth a try and just search around some big cities. It looks like a fairly large city that either have a lake or are on a south coast like this. This is quite findable, but it could take a really long time. Because I really don't have any clue as to what country we're in here if I can't see the language. So in I go, and I'll get back to you if I find anything. I'm not super hopeful. Well, that actually was surprisingly quick. It was the second city I checked, which was Zurich. I went into Munich first just to check it and then realised it doesn't have a lake. And then I thought, what city has a lake? And Zurich is one that we always have Zurich rounds. And I remembered, obviously, it's on a big lake. This lake seems to match with this because it has this river running up to the one side of it. And this is a river running up to the side of it here. So it makes sense that this definitely would be Zurich. So we've got no clue as to where in the city we are. We'll just go central. We can also see this other smaller lake is going to be one, possibly this one or one of these. showing on, so should be Zurich. Now the year is a little challenging. This looks like one of those old keyboards that I used to use when I was at primary school. It's an IBM maybe, but I would say early 80s. Do we have any big glasses? Not particularly massive. These could be. I think we're going to be early 80s here, possible late 70s. I don't think they'd be using this equipment into the 90s. I think I'm going to go on 82 here. Let's go for that. I was 89. It was into the late 90s. They were still using that in the late 90s. Good location, though. Shame about that. Call handlers working the phones at an emergency call center in Zurich. So, wow. They needed to upgrade their tech then. Last one, we have Lyndon B. Johnson in the White House Gardens with his dogs. So we'll pretty much narrow that down. We can go into the White House Gardens. I like it when we have an easy one immediately after a tricky one. Where is DC? Here it is. Okay. So the White House Gardens, I always get this wrong. It is this one because it's got the curve on the back of the building. It's this side here where the tennis court is. So we must be, we're on the grass, probably just about here. We see a tree in the background, which, have they chopped that tree down? Because there isn't a tree there anymore. Not in front, between here, it would be here. Okay, what year would it be? So it's Lyndon B. Johnson. He was president after JFK was killed. So technically we could be in the JFK era if it's when he's the vice president, but it's unlikely. So we're going to be from 63 through to which year he was re-elected. So it would be 68. I think we'll go 65. I think it's a reasonable guess. Hedge it in the middle a little bit. 64, and we were a bit further over to the side here. Okay, so President Lyndon B. Johnson holding his dog her by the ears, a common practice among some hunters. The photo raised criticism nationwide from dog lovers. He's pulling it up. He is pulling it up by the ears. I think it's a bit cruel. Okay. Final score, 47,562. It's not too bad. Okay, I think we know where we lost the points there on the Zurich round with the poor year guess. So first round, perfect year guess in Delhi. It was nice, but it's a modern day picture. 4 years off in Hungary. Could have been a bit better there. It's always tricky. Perfect year guess again in Wellington. I was very glad I thought about that a couple of times and took my time with that one. Next one, 7 years off in Zurich. Nicely worked out that it was Zurich, but 7 years off is not great. And last one, 1 year off, pretty much perfect location. Okay, and let's have a look at the leaderboard. Relander, very good. 48,129. I think it's just some solid year guess in there, probably. Then myself. Wacker 45,000, good. Duda 44, Clogo 43, nice. Panda 40, Figbug 39, not bad. Okay, I think I'll probably not be playing tomorrow, but I'll be back on either Saturday or Sunday. I'll see you then. Bye.